Here is meteorologist Stephen Jones.
Well, starting off with our time lapse for New Year's Day 2025, you can see plenty of sunshine across the Concho Valley. Temperatures not too bad though, only pushing up into those mid and upper 50s across the area, and good view of the moon right here as well as we're going into the overnight. Just getting that waxing crescent is what we're at right now with the moon. Of course, temperatures at the 10 p.m. hour cooling off pretty quickly down to 40 here in town, 39 there in Mertzen as well as Sterling City. The cool spot going to be down towards the southwest with Ozona coming in at 38 degrees and a little bit warmer. Off towards the east, a couple 42s there for Brady as well as Junction. So only about 4 degrees of spread right now in the 10 p.m. hour. Looking at the dew points, you can see they've started to dry out just a little bit compared to earlier. Seeing a couple 20s back on the board, 28 there in Mertzen, 29 over in Eden, 28 as well for Ozona. The relative humidity indices on the rise thanks to our temperatures coming down anywhere from the 60s to the 70s right now going into the overnight hours, and our temperatures are going to come down even more thanks to those dew points being so low. Moisture tracker over the next couple of days, you can see we're going to start to see more of the southeasterly flow, especially going into the weekend. More of those greens making their way back into the Concho Valley. That's where we could start to see more of that cloud cover taking place. For now, it doesn't look like enough moisture in place that we're going to see some rainfall from this, unfortunately. Mainly that those blues are staying off the Gulf Coast, but could see some scattered showers along the coastal bend if you are planning on any traveling going into the next couple of days. As we go into the upper level pattern, you can see the last trough that moved through with all this cool air we're feeling now is moving its way off towards the east, but we've got this upper level ridge building in that's going to warm us into the weekend, but right behind it, this upper level trough digging in by Sunday into Monday. That's where we're going to see a good cold front pushing in, dropping us from what looks like the 70s on Sunday, going into Monday, going to be in the 50s, if not the 40s, and then we see another double shot of that Arctic air coming in down towards the American Southwest by Wednesday, going to keep us nice and cool with the 40s, and then even overnight lows down into the 20s. And you can see this counterclockwise circulation going to bring onshore some of that Pacific moisture for the Concho Valley by the midweek point of next week, but where exactly that avenue of moisture is going to be setting up, whether it's right overhead, just to the north or just to the south, is really what remains to be seen with our precipitation chances going into next week. Currently, the national satellite, you can see just off towards the west coast, all this Pacific moisture working into the Pacific Northwest and over the Rocky Mountains, really, and as well as into California. You can see the subtropical jet really bringing in some other moisture down over Baja California and over to Texas. And as we zoom in for you can see some of that cloud cover making its way into the panhandle, but really not too heavy, and then just a little bit trying to make its way just south of the Concho Valley as well. Luckily, going into the overnight hours, I think we're going to still stay pretty clear overhead, and that's going to be helping us get down pretty cold tonight, looking like the lower 30s once again, a potential freeze again, and then some upper 20s are also in the mix for some of those low-lying areas. As we're going into tomorrow, you could see some of that morning cloud cover, but the afternoon just looking beautiful once again, and that same story really going to take place again going into Friday with just a little bit of that morning cloud cover popping up, and then look at that by the afternoon, pretty much going to be that wall-to-wall sunshine once again as we're going throughout the day on your Friday. For tonight, though, remember with those lighter winds out of the east around 5 miles an hour, I'm calling 32 here at Mathis Field, but like I said, upper 20s aren't going to be out of the question. So remember the 4 Ps, people, pipes, pets, and plants going into the overnight hours. Tomorrow, warming up quite a bit compared to today. I'm calling that 69-degree mark is what we're looking at, with winds turning out of the south-southwest about 5 to 10 miles an hour, really indicating the return of some of that moisture. But like I said, we want a little bit more if we're going to start to see some more rain showers making their way into the viewing area. This weekend, I would definitely take advantage as we see those mid to upper 60s and even the 70s for a pretty beautiful weekend before that cold front moves in, cooling things off to the 50s, even the 40s by next week, and those overnight lows dipping down to the mid 20s. That's going to be all for your 7-day forecast, but stick around for more KSAN news right